August 31st, 2020. Quick look at the tropics, guys. Tropical Depression 15 is formed, and we were talking about this in the earlier video, and it's going to head out into the northeast, but it's there. But what I'm watching now is disturbance number 1. It's 80% chance of cyclone formation in 5 days. And it's kind of a strange storm because of the path for September. The way that these hurricanes turn counterclockwise, they have a nature to turn to the right, and the high pressure that sets over the either the U.S. or the Atlantic Ocean or both will let that kind of steers the storm. If it's a lot of high pressure over the U.S. like it's going to be next week, this could push it down into Mexico. And some of the models are looking at that, but we're going to go into detail on it. Here's Caribbean outlook. At the top, you're seeing Tropical Depression number 15. It's just off the coast of North Carolina right now, southern North Carolina. And notice the clouds are being stripped away from it because the rotation is kind of being exposed to the left, and we've seen that a lot this year. But it's supposed to follow that front and keep moving out to sea. And in the Caribbean, some of the signature traits of a good tropical system is starting to happen here in the last few frames. Check that out. Starting to really round out. These are 8 o'clock p.m. updates. Some of the models I'm going to show you came in just after this at 8:30. But these are classic signatures. Now here is a little more modeling than we normally see. But most of these models have it coming either into the Yucatan or across the entire peninsula into the Pacific Ocean. And it's because of a high pressure system that I was talking about that's going to be over the Atlantic and the U.S. But in the white, you see the storm track. Now, my concern is my 2 models that I rely on the most, the Navy model and the CMC, and you guys are very familiar with me talking about those 2 models. They stopped. They stopped at 8:30 tonight. And in the white, right here, this is where the storm is now. But this white line is the Navy model, NVGM, NavGM. Stopped right there. They quit predicting, and maybe because the high pressure system is starting to change. The other model that I use is the Canadian model here in the green. It was projected to go southwest and now northwest, and it ends way before any of the other models do, except for a couple. And I think they are reevaluating, or the data going into these computer modeling systems are being reevaluated, and it would be determined by the high pressure system. But again, here's most of the models again keeping it out of the Gulf of Mexico at this point. What would be interesting to me is the later 10 o'clock or the early morning updates on the modeling from NavGem and the CMC. Notice here at 8:30 p.m., guys, that's about 20-something minutes ago, the CMC model had showing that turn and the stop. That's that bottom light green model. And the NavGem model in purple has been completely removed. I think they're reevaluating, but a telltale sign to me is the curve in the CMC. Not saying exactly where it's going to go, but these are the 2 models you've heard me talk about every hurricane season. Now what I'm talking about here in the high pressure steering, notice this is going up to September 8th, and the low pressure you're seeing at the end of this is actually one that's coming off of Africa now. But notice in the orange and the light orange, dark orange, and the yellow, and I'll stop it. And what's happening is if the system's just in the Atlantic, it will let it curve up our east coast. But see this September 5th, it's across the entire U.S., southeast U.S., out into the Atlantic very strong. And there's where the modeling is coming into play. They were predicting this, and so that would steer the storm. We've talked about it many times. You get a gap in that high pressure system, and the storm will turn north very quickly on you. And we go into the 6th, right there, and then 7th, it's gone. But through the 6th, that high pressure area is shown staying here. A couple of things, steering of the storm, but a very hot week coming up for us in the southeast, guys. And so I think that's what we're seeing. Now, again, what I would be looking for are the updates from both the Navy and the Canadian model. And they will be, again, I'll be keeping an eye on it throughout the night. We have some time on the storm, but it's very unusual for it to follow the main tracking, and then our two main, most dependent tracking programs are stopping. They're reevaluating at this time, and again, maybe the next update they will show something. But right now, they're dealing with the high pressure that's going to be over the southeast U.S. across the Atlantic. So again, that is good for the U.S., for the Yucatan, some of the other areas. Maybe you need some rain, because you probably get it if that holds true. And but we're getting rain now. Right now, it's just light sprinkling. I don't know if you can hear it, but that is mostly from the heat of the day, and it's moving from the left of this image to the right across on your radars. If you see it, just small thunderstorms popping up here and there. But it did cool it off, guys. We were at a 105 today heat index here, and that's very warm. You walk outside, it's a furnace, especially with the humidity as high as it is. And it always happens after something like a Cat 4, Cat 5 hurricane comes through. It's cool for a day or two, but that tailwind of that vacuum that's pulling all that warm air off the Gulf of Mexico makes it very hot and humid. So you guys be careful. In grand solar minimum, you can burn easy and you can heat stroke easy. We're watching it, guys. Watch for updates. It's a heads up. Be safe.